I don't know. Can you hear me? Because I can't hear you.
What it do, folks? You got you here?
Yeah.
Perfect, perfect. Sorry, it was a little technical difficulty, folks. But like I said, what is your boy? It's your boy Charles Younger here, and it's Maryland Live here on August 29th, 2025. We are one day away from the start of the college football season. We have a huge game coming up against Florida Atlantic. At home against, like I said, Florida Atlantic Owls. We do have a great game. We have a great show ahead of you. We're going to hear from Coach Mike Loxley. We're going to hear from Jalen Husky, a senior defensive back, and Darian Fleming, a sophomore tight end. And with me, as always, I do have the OG, Professor G, the MLB OG, Mark Gray. And how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. I mean, college football season close to home is about 24 hours away. Got our feet wet a little bit with 0 last on some lower division games and stuff like that. But and technically speaking, I'm gonna echo back. I don't know what's going on.
Uh,
Okay. Well,
uh,
I'm trying to talk.
Try to mute your mic and come back with us. We'll while we get those technical issues fixed. I'm gonna go ahead and play a little. Just get everybody set up here. We're gonna play a little bit from Coach Loxley. He had a little he had a little presser on Tuesday where he gave a little opening remarks to the press.
We feel like we're pretty healthy coming out of it. Got a lot of young guys, a lot of snaps, and we'll continue to develop them throughout the course of this season. Most importantly, as I said earlier, we came out healthy. When you look at FAU, a completely different team than a year ago, a lot of unknowns for us, as I'm sure they have a lot of unknowns about us. They got a new head coach, Zach Kitley, a 34-year-old guy that got a background, a Texas Tech background, which, having played against Texas Tech's teams and a byproduct of Sonny Cumbie, he's an air raid guy, so we expect them to be a Texas Tech-like air raid system on offense, and that's his background, his wheelhouse. Had a lot of success early at Houston Baptist. Also spent some time as well with, I think, coming back Texas Tech, obviously, and then Houston Baptist before he went to Western Kentucky, where he had Bailey Zapke, really good quarterback. So a guy that knows what he's doing on offense. He has a team that has 55 newcomers, transfers, very similar setup to where we are, and a revamped defense that has a few Big Ten people on the roster. I know they're Mike Linebacker, former Minnesota player. Cam Rice, our D tackle, one of his teammates is there at FAU. But as always, when we open up, it's really not going to be about our opponent. It'll be about what we do, and that's what we'll focus on, is we don't have a lot of information as to what they'll do. And so that's, for us, the important piece to make sure we know what we want to do. We talked about the frustration of 2024 season, and because of it, we've had a relentless work ethic throughout our building the last 273 days. That's how long it's been since we finished up in State College. I've seen firsthand the impact these coaches, these new players have had in our program. And much like you guys, I'm excited to see what they do in the shell on Saturday. Our game captains this week will be Alan Haran. We'll have Bryce McPherson, and we'll have Daniel Wingate. As you know, we do game captains here, and those three will be the first to lead us as we open our 2025 season.
So, Mark, it appears you were logged in twice here on the stream here. I see two. Let's try to do this here. See, look at this. You twice.
Yeah, just yeah,
All right.
that's what we need
All right.
more of
So,
me.
all right. So let me do this here. One have to. You probably get your. It's reason why I get feedback. So we have two of you there. So now now speak to the mic. See what we got to hear.
You sound a lot better now. Less
All
echo.
right, that's what it
More.
was. We had a double stream. I mean, I love you, Mark, but too much of you.
Yeah,
Two of you
yeah,
might be too much.
yeah.
So
Extra is what I've heard recently, but that's a topic for another conversation. Anyway, as we get ready to rock on here, I will say this: couple of interesting things that which are noteworthy in terms of context as we come up with this game opener or season opener, I should say. But Maryland has won 13 straight non-conference openers. That's the third largest streak in the Big Ten, only behind Ohio State and Michigan at 21 and 14, respectively. And this goes all the way back to 2010 when the Terps beat Navy in Baltimore, M&T Bank Stadium. So here's what we look at right now. Last year they won what 50-7 or something like that over UConn. They had
mhm,
like 600 yards total offense,
mhm,
which was the most yards, as I understand, in team history this century. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
And you feel good about the fact that they should have an advantage. But when I hear Coach Loxley start talking about the air raid offense, and he kind of threw in the name of Bailey Zappi, who definitely had a cup of coffee in the NFL, but they were all gunslingers. And I think what stands out to me is this is a game where we learn what was really going on in the secondary room. Because the air raid offense, if you remember, was a Cliff Kingsbury offense. He now is the offensive coordinator for the Washington Commanders and helped Jaden Daniels to do big things last year. So when you look at the air raid offense and you look at the pressure that it's going to put on Maryland's DBs and to try and get some pressure up front. I think the key to this game defensively, Chuck, is going to be Maryland's defensive front blowing up by destroying their offensive line. And I say it in those terms because that's the way you got to play in order to win in the Big Ten. And I think that there are some questions that won't be answered until we get through this early stretch of non-conference games. I think the defensive backfield should be solidified, but also I don't think we really know who the starting quarterback is for the season. Because as I've been saying, Chuck, all along, I think Maryland has to go 3-0 in the non-conference to get to the point where we really find out what they're about when they go into Madison, Wisconsin on or October 6th, I believe it is. So I'm still thinking when you wait this long to not even name a starter yet lets me know that the competition must be even better than we had been hearing, and they're waiting until the end of this quote preseason end quote schedule because again we're talking in terms of pros right now because folks are getting paid, so to contextualize, this is your preseason, you learn about yourself. Opening night is October 6th, and I think we'll have a handle on who is the team the official starter for quarterback at that time. I'm pushing my chips in on that one right now because we know that there's incredible talent. um there's, you may want to, you're considering starting the kid from round away versus the, you know, um, star transfer. Really, some interesting subliminal questions going on with that position, and I don't think we're going to have a full idea who is the premier or primary signal caller probably until you know the end of September.
Well, funny thing about the air raid system. We're gonna go more into that a little bit later when we preview Florida A&M. Not Stephen Florida, excuse me, Florida Atlantic. Their roster. They have a couple of real talented players that might get Maryland some trouble. But back to what you said about the quarterback battle. I have some more audio here from another video here from Coach Loxley about that quarterback battle.
The camaraderie, that position group all has Talia-ish impact, which means you can tell that this group, there's not one of the three that have competed for the job, that when they walk in the huddle, that there's not a confidence from the people around them that they can get the job done. So that comfort level is one that I felt, obviously, having a guy like Talia for 3 years and the records he was able to accomplish here. All three of those guys give me that feel. Again, this room is a room that, as I've said before, similar skill sets, same genre, really talented group, and really close-knit group as well.
Now, we had that conversation last week, Chuck, and I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but it's great that you have competition like that, and it's great that you have camaraderie in the room. But the alpha male is the guy that's up under center, the one who rests the wings away. And I understand, you want to be a competitive battle, but in that position, there is an intangible where if you got to go up to a lineman's face and say you got to block better by putting his hand in your face mask, you can do that. And I think we have very nice, intelligent, extremely athletic quarterbacks. Who has that chip? Who's the alpha male? Who goes out and takes control? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes on a project, there's one person that has to take control in order for it to make deadline or something like that. I think that's the analogy that I would use with the quarterback position right now at UMD. And I'm anxious to see it play out because you got great minds who've been working with great quarterbacks who know how to get the most out of them. And given that this is probably the most talent that we've seen in a quarterback room in a while sometime, I'm anxious to see which one stands out. Because some could argue, and you often hear this in all sports, if you've got three of them, then do you really have one? And this will be interesting to watch play out.
That's true, but another thing you need to worry about is the fact that what do they say is a quarterback's best friend?
As
A
a wide
strong
receiver,
run.
or a
Okay,
tight
no
end, really.
tight
Yeah.
end. Yeah, we'll talk about the Maryland tight end coming up, but I was to say a strong running game. And here's Coach Mike Loxley on his running backs room.
We don't ease our way into anything. You just can't do it. When you hit the start button of a season, it's ignite. And to elevate, you've got to ignite. And our goal, we got Nolan Ray back healthy, had some off-season procedure that I think will allow him to maybe finally reach the potential that we thought he has, or we see he has. DeJuan Williams coming off the ACL his senior year in high school. As we all know, it takes about a year and a half for that thing to fully heal. So a year ago, you saw a small sample size of it. Then you throw in guys like Eli Mason, who we put on scholarship this past weekend, who's become that utility guy for us. We made some power moves by moving DJ Samuels from the outside linebacker role to our fullback, and he brought an intensity to our offense that we need to have. And Rocket Howard, who is healthy finally, missed some time during camp, but he's healthy. So I feel good that the depth and the skill set in that room is Big Ten caliber. But we got to go out and do it. It won't be easing into it.
Oh, I love it. The linebacker to fullback thing. That's just gangster.
Yeah.
Love it, man. And oftentimes in high school, that is somewhat of a transition. They'll get up and block for the superstar and then go back out and knock somebody's head off. So I'm anxious to see how that plays out. I mean, and to your point, a running game helps a passing game, but and Pep's gonna want to run the football. That is his MO. But Locks likes to get the ball down the field.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when you got a receiver the caliber of Jalil Farouk. I mean, he reeks of special, and this is kind of wide receiver university, at least on the East Coast. You know what I'm saying? I mean, DJ Moore, Stephon Diggs, just to name a few. Have Vernon Davis as a tight end. So skill players on the outside are not unfamiliar at University of Maryland. But how do you orchestrate that? Because if they're able to run the football, if Maryland can average 3.5 yards per rush, they're going to be one of the most dangerous offenses in the conference. Because they've got the talent on the outside at the skill positions, and if you start doubling that up, you can play physical up front with the run game. But if you need to make the adjustments to take away the run game, and you got the talented set of skill players that Locks has right now, and Pep has, toys to play with, so to speak, they're gonna be an interesting challenge for defensive coordinators around in the country, well, around the conference, I should say, especially when the quarterback situation is settled and the dust has cleared. Because I'm not saying it's a bad haze. I'm saying it's more like a purple haze or a red haze that's hanging over that spot right now, which is a good thing because you need depth at all positions in this conference, man. And the heavies have 3 or 4. You've got 3 certainly in that spot. I'm just ready to see this whole thing play out over the first 3 weeks of the season.
Yeah, and I like. Ooh, I'm getting the feedback. Hello. Yes. Okay. I'm getting some feedback here. I guess it's something wrong with my system. But Nolan Ray, a 6'1", 212-pound redshirt sophomore. Last season he averaged 5 yards a carry on 75 attempts. So he's probably going to be the lead. He's going to be the leader in the backfield. And the other running back he's mentioned, DeJohn Williams, he is also at a 5'11", 215-pound running back. So both guys are good size, good speed. Probably had that run that 4.4-ish speed. Jerron Williams, like I said, he was appeared in 3 games last year, ran for 46 yards on 8 attempts and 1 touchdown. So he didn't have that many touches, but he did get the ball, he did make plays happen. So yeah, that's probably a good 1-2 punch. And the fact that they're using a fullback means they want to run the ball. I mean, how many fullbacks do you see in football in general these days?
Especially when you start looking at the spread offenses and stuff like that, everything is gadgeting in. But this shows a sign that Locks is coming around and saying we got to get physical to be a factor in our league, and that's what that's about. Because he also noted in a previous take that the quarterback room had a lot of the Talea-ish qualities in terms of bonding, real talent, and things of that nature. And it's funny that you look at the running backs right now, and they kind of are built like Big Ten backs. All the great backs, ain't no scat backs, I think, coming out of Big Ten country. You know what I'm saying? We've seen the Ron Danes. Uh, my goodness, Eddie George was not a small back at Ohio State. If I dare to go back that far, Maurice Claret wasn't a little guy. Ezekiel Elliott wasn't small. I mean, I think Harbaugh probably did the best job at Michigan with Pep there, with smaller backs and still winning nonetheless. But the size of these backs and a fullback, Chuck, this means they want to run, and you're gonna have cold weather games in mid to late October that are gonna carry you home, and you got to run the football in State College. You got to be able to run the football in Madison. You got to be able to run the football in Lansing. You know what I'm saying? You got to run the football at the Big House. You're gonna have to make some run plays, and the fact that you've got a fullback in the backfield right now maybe takes one receiver out of the mix, but you can play with that with different looks. But I like that, man. I'm a big fan of you know uh, run the football and stop the run, and you'll have some success. And I like the ingredients for that recipe in College Park.
Yeah, we were able to talk to some defense. We were able to talk to some defensive players. last week. Now we call some offensive players. Next time we call players perspective, but we're going to talk about the tight end Dorian Fleming and defensive back Jalen Husky right after this.
You can make a difference here at the Voice of College Football. Use the Amazon link. Financially contribute to the Voice of College Football without spending a penny. Same shopping experience. It's easy. Go to any video on any channel. Go to the description section and grab the link right next to the capital letters that say Amazon. Use that link, and Amazon will instantaneously convert to your account, settings, history, everything intact, just like whatever link you use right now. No difference. Pay no attention to the product that you see right there. Just go search what you want. Don't forget the Amazon link. Thank you for your support. Sincerely, the Voice of College Football.
That's right. Support your local businesses. Support small businesses here at the Voice of College Football. Click on that link. It's not no extra steps. Just click on that link. You're going to shop at Amazon anyway. Just click on the link. Just click the link. That's all.
Click.
All right, Mark. So we are going to switch gears a little bit to the actual players on the field. Tuesday's presser. Dorian Fleming and Jalen Husky were able to speak with the media. Then let's start with the senior, Jalen Husky, who is this is his fourth year at the University of Maryland. He is a local kid he's from Frederick, and he's had winning seasons in high school. And last year's season of 4-8 was very disappointing to him. And he is going to be a leader on defense. And let's see what he has to say when it comes to what this team has to do this coming year.
Me right now, I'm a lot more eager. I think my freshman year, I was really nervous, like super nervous, like I was shaking before the game. But right now, I'm just eager to go out there and perform at a high level for my teammates in my school. I think that we became a really close-knit group. I think we were able to iron out the communication errors that we've had in the past, and we've all bought in on being an exceptional secondary. So I think all the things we did off the field have translated on the field. I think I tried to help everybody as best as I could, especially the safeties, because that's the room I'm in the most. And being able to mentor the young guys, even still to this day, helping them understand what it means to prepare for a game week and how they should go about watching film and how they should go about taking care of their bodies on a day-to-day basis. It's been a collective effort across the whole board as a defensive back unit. I think idealistically you want to say that the season's behind you right when the season ends, but I think we all know that's not the truth. And once we got into spring ball and we saw what we could do and the potential we had as a defense just off the initial installs and how we were performing and how we were communicating and flying around to the ball as a team and as a defense, I think that's when we really put this last season behind us and we're became ready for a new season. I think it's an exceptional opportunity just to be a defensive back here at the University of Maryland. I think every single person in the defensive back room does not take it lightly and doesn't take it for granted what it means to be a defensive back at the University of Maryland. There's a bunch of NFL players that have came from here, and everybody here wants to be the next one. I'm extremely eager. Winning all the games in high school set a good foundation for me, and I know what it looks like at a high school level, but being able to translate that into college is something that I haven't had great success with, but I think we have all the tools and everything that's necessary to have that type of winning season here. And I think the first game is just igniting the fire, igniting the flame of what it means to have a great season here. On Saturday, we'll just show how connected we are, how disciplined we are, and how consistent we will be for the whole entire season. It's really just about how connected we are and how unified we are. Every single person is moving on one accord, and there's not much gray area going on anywhere in the defense, and I think that's allowed us to play super fast and super physical. I think it's a great benefit because it allows us to just focus more on us than the opponent. It allows us to really go into our intangibles and our standard and dig deep into that and focus more on who we are and who we want to be during the season rather than the opponent. I don't think it makes a difference who starts back there, whether it's 12, 6, or 7. I think we'll be okay regardless of who's back there. And my job is to worry about the defense and make sure the defense is okay. So whoever the starting quarterback is, I think we'll be in great hands. one collective thing that I like about every single one of them that they each bring is their leadership and their commitment to excellence. I think every single one of them has came in with the mentality to win the job and to bring others with them. And that's what you need at the quarterback position, is somebody that's super competitive and somebody that wants to win and somebody that will be able to bring the rest of the team with them. For me, a big thing for me was my tackling in space, and I think with I did a great job with the strength staff this year, being able to put on a little bit more weight, uh, getting up to around 205, and then on the field, taking extra reps in the tackling circuits and extra reps after practice, just practicing my angles, reviewing the film. I think that's the biggest area of my game where I've seen a step up. I think his ability to process the defense, he's shown that at his last school at Western Kentucky, he was a elite processor, which led him to being the conference player of the year. His ability to get the ball out fast and run the offense on time is something that led them to have great success. So I think his brain is something that's really good, and then he does well completing the passes when they need to be made. So I think he's a great quarterback, and we'll have a plan ready for him. I think just being able to diversify who gets the ball and also showing new looks every single day in practice. As a defensive back, especially as a safety, I'm making a lot of calls. You would love to see a lot of different looks, and I've definitely been able to see a lot of different looks while I'm in practice.
So
I, I,
Jalen was talking a lot about a lot of things there. He talked about the complexity of the defense. He talked about the quarterback battle, and he talked about the opposing quarterback, and he talked about how he's going to take on a more of a leadership role with this team. So the back, and also he talked about the fact that there are a lot of defensive backs who played in Maryland or playing at the next level in the NFL too. So most recently, one of the best was Nick Cross, but whose little brother, by the way, is on the roster. So keep looking out for him as well.
I will tell you this, man, and I was thinking as I was watching him, his body type is a lot like Kyle Hamilton is for the Ravens. If you look at that, they're long, they're lanky, um, big, physical defensive guys. They're big guys that can play in the defensive backfield, and that's where the developmental side of Ted Monachino comes in to make him that much better for that next step. When you get into combines and all that kind of stuff preseason, and ultimately make a pro football roster. Because I could see now in a body type. I don't know about because we can only see limited amounts of practice, to say the least. Uh, but he just seems like he could be that rangy kind of guy that could both come up and help in run support and also be on the back end as one of the more aggressive safeties in the conference. I'm really anxious to see how this defensive philosophy fits his skill set, because I think Husky can be a big factor, and if he's a big factor on the back end, he they may be some eyes that awaken to him for some, Big Ten awards after the regular season.
Yeah, he did transfer from cornerback to safety. He did put on some weight. He is prototypical safety size at around 6'2", 200, 205, 210 pounds. So he's not big and bulky, but he's big enough to where he can, he said his biggest improvement was his tackling. That's why he put the mask on. His open field tackling is his big improvement over the offseason. So we'll see, because he's going to have to be putting some tackling in against Florida Atlantic when it comes to that air raid system.
And he's also going to have to come up in run defense when we get to the heart of the Big Ten schedule. I mean, the safeties, that back end is going to have to be able to, step up and because hey, this is a conference that has breakaway backs all up and down the league of various sizes. So the back end, and a guy like Husky could be one of those kind of back end players that may, you know, take a 25-yard busted play call, and instead of it being a touchdown, it may only go for 40, and the defense maybe um, gets a turnover or something and swing some momentum after stopping that play. I think he could be one of those kind of players.
That's true. And let's flip it to the other side. This feedback is getting quite annoying, but I don't understand why. But we will work. We're professionals here. We'll work our way through it.
Yes,
Let's
we
flip to the
will.
other. Let's flip the other side of the ball into the offense. Now, I did say
Yes,
earlier, a quarterback's best
we will.
friend is a strong running game, but also a quarterback's best friend is a you said earlier a tight end. And let's hear from Dorian Fleming, who is a sophomore who transferred from Georgia State. Who before I let you know, he is quite impressive. He was a uh, second team All American while he was at Georgia State. Transferred here to Maryland. He's a 6'3", 245, so he's good. He's a good sized tight end, and we will hear from Dorian Fleming now.
During fall camp, it gave us a time to just stay on track, work on that timing, and just perfect our offense.
And what kind of gives you confidence about the passing attack, just in general, going into the season opener?
I feel like we got weapons all around the field. I feel like anybody can make a play at any time, and I feel like that's what makes us explosive. I'm very excited. Like I said, Coach Pep, he does a great job with being able to spread the ball around. Anybody can get the ball at any moment, and we got a lot of playmakers that can make plays when the ball gets to their hands. So
Yeah.
I'm excited.
And what's your favorite route to run?
Anyone that's gonna get me open. I played quarterback from flag football all the way up until my senior year of high school. So I got a good understanding about how the game is supposed to be felt, getting into those open spots from a quarterback situation. So I feel like I'm good with getting friendly and getting to an open spot where they can find me and I'm in the perfect location. I'm comfortable with all three of them. I feel like no matter who goes out there on Saturday, I can make plays with all three of them. We've been together since spring. I've been working out with all of them, and I feel like the connection is great, so it doesn't really matter. I feel like we're going to show like our ability to compete. I feel like a lot of people are kind of holding us back, don't got us doing much, and that's just preseason talk, but I think that we can go out and show the world that we're very capable. My team goal is to win every week. Every week I want to go out and win. And personal goal, I just want to stay healthy and have a great season. Coming off of last season, I feel like my biggest improvement to this year will be my availability in the trenches as far as blocking, being all-around player, not just being able to catch the ball, being able to finish blocks, control the C-gap, and do my job in that area as well. Success is based on, like, our team goals. So, like, we have a standard. We have our team goals, and our goal every week is to go out and win. So I feel like winning is the standard between having a good season and having a bad season. So the goal is to go out and win every week. I feel like I'm comfortable where I'm at. I like to leave it to the guys that actually do this. So I think we're in good hands with those three guys. So there's no need for me to go step out there.
Yeah.
I like the fact that, one thing about you getting a player who played in the Sun Belt, speed and athleticism. I mean, they may not be the biggest guys, but they do have some of the fastest, and it is a quality brand of football. And at that level, they're just coming up through to step into the show. But I like the fact that even as a tight end, a guy that probably wants to catch a lot of passes and certainly wouldn't have a problem being a safety valve, but he wants to your point, as it relates to the run game, you got a tight end that can throw some blocks and catch some passes. I mean, that's the prototype, right? That's what made name your elite tight end a Hall of Famer. What Tony Gonzalez was a perfect example of that in Kansas City before Travis Kelsey, right? So, because remember, those guys are extension of O linemen, and you're gonna have somebody on that end that's gonna have to do some seal blocking, as well as get off the block and get out into the flats. And I'm anxious to see. Again, there's a whole lot of experimental stuff that's gonna be going on in like a laboratory game that counts on Saturday and up through the end of the month. And I think that there's an interesting place to look at an evolution and you know, creating offensive opportunities. You know what I'm saying? So that's a position. As much as we've seen the wide receivers from Maryland go out and do really big things, haven't seen the tight end since Vernon Davis. So just want to put that one out there into the context of what we're doing here as we go into kickoff is we're projecting. That's what we're projecting. That's what we do. You know. So everybody at this point is some level of project. I think we'll learn more about the project definitely as we move it along. And by October 6th, you hope to have a finished product. And he may be one of them.
Yeah, and look at his numbers at Georgia State. He had 49 catches for 558 yards and 6 touchdowns in 12 games. That is a solid tight end production. That's like him coming off on the inside. You have someone like Jalil Farouk on the outside. That's like a nice little combination of receivers that the whichever one ends up being the starting quarterback has to throw to.
And there's some weapons on paper for sure.
Mm.
You know, now
The
paper
championships aren't one on paper.
right. You know, so you look at it and you just look at the roster reconstruction. That's what I would look at it at. You know what I'm saying? It's like they've totally restructured the organization, and in so doing has restructured the roster so that depth in certain places that they might be able to absorb injuries like they were not last year. And I think this is going to be the depth of the offensive line again in a conference that is all about physicality and brute toughness. You got to have layers on that O line, and I'm just anxious to see how that position group stays healthy. You know, and there's something to be made, and I don't want to give anybody a built-in excuse or anything like that. Coaches will hate me for saying that, but there are rigors to having conference games on the other side of the country. Make you think about that, especially when you're taking between 12 and 15 credits, I'm sure, for these young student athletes. And I admit that they probably got a tremendous coaching, staff to set up the game plans, but it's still a lot of stress on the mind and the body. So we got to be mindful of that. When the farthest you were going south, I'm old enough to remember that where the farthest south Maryland went was Clemson. Let's be clear, as before Georgia Tech and before the University of Miami went there. Like, you Clemson. So now you're going all the way out to LA, Seattle. Those are long trips. I got to take a longer trip in this fall. Though. I'm looking forward to
Eugene.
getting there. Yeah, you can look forward, and they're doing it in close time spans, back and forth, back and forth. Or maybe they work it out so they can stay out there sometimes. There are those options that go with this new world order of NIL and the way that you can reappropriate finances in order to basically run the team. I think that
And you won't miss classes because of the technology, digital. You can zoom through your professor, so your eligibility won't be violated by missing class.
Nah, not at all. And even if you have to get up at a god awful time in the morning, if you got like a 9 o'clock class and it's 6 o'clock on the West Coast, hey, it's online. All professors have been taught to use AI. Hey, for anything but plagiarizing.
No, we do not endorse or condone plagiarizing here at Voice of College Football.
No.
Do your own work, kids.
Do it all. Don't let the computer work for you. Let it. It can
so
help.
when we come back, it can help, but don't work here. It can assist. It can be your point guard, but not your shooting guard. But when we come back, we're going to talk about the other team, Florida Atlantic, and what they have to offer when it comes to this game and what Maryland has to look out for when it comes to playing the Owls down there from Boca Raton.
College football is even more exciting when you've got some action on the line, and the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the Voice of College Football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread, and I've got a 40-plus year track record. 11-0 in the college football playoff for me last year against the money line, 8-3 against the spread. And I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill of Wager Talk is our ace in the hole, show stopper. 7 years with the voice of college football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick. 28-12 against the spread the last 3 years. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Corey Bratta, Matt Zemek, and Steve Dace. Check out those numbers. Become a YouTube or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and then select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2025 a winner now.
Make it a winner now. And that winner is going to be, who knows, against the spread. I've dabbled my fingers in the gambling sites here and there, just, for entertainment purposes only.
Possibly, of course, sure.
Yes, responsibly, of course. I don't, I do like my scratch offs, a dollar here, a dollar there, nothing crazy. You see what happens. You never know. But let's talk a little bit about.
Never ran into any thoughts of tapping into the mortgage fund to put up a wager,
Nope.
have you?
Okay. Nope, not at all. Never. I think I'd probably be divorced by the time that happens.
That's what I'm trying to keep you away from, my friend.
All right.
Not that
all right. Well,
but bet only as much as you can afford to lose, people.
Exactly, which for me is $1. So let's talk about the competition. Let's talk about the opposition that Maryland will be facing. That is Florida Atlantic University. Funny, they're owls. Are there owls in Florida? I didn't realize that. I thought they were known for their gators, not the bird life. Their flamingos and their seagulls and their pelicans. I didn't realize they're known for their owls.
Chicken in Gainesville, bro. They in Boca.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Which let's just stop it there for a second. A scholarship athlete in Boca. Dude, what a life!
I mean, you play worse places. Like that's gonna help their recruiting.
There ain't no way in the hell if I'm just getting $200,000 a year in NIL money, I ain't staying in Boca. Are you kidding me? Wow. Damn, what a great place. But I'll tell you one thing. They ain't no stranger to beating Big Ten teams. They took down Minnesota once. You know what I'm saying? And Minnesota's not exactly a power in the conference, but there was a time when they knocked off a Big Ten team, and that was in 2017. You get here now, and they trying to do it again. So the eerie irony of it is, and believe it or not, man, it's funny. The game that they won, Florida Atlantic, that is, they were coached by a guy named Howard Schnellenberger. Does that name ring a bell to you?
Sounds very familiar. He might have done some things in the Big Ten.
Well, he did some things. Well, actually, as an independent at the U. All right, he was the guy that recruited Jim Kelly of the Buffalo Bills, and was able to ride that wave to a national championship at that time, which was a voted on thing. It's not like it is right now where you do have a clear champion. It was a voted upon thing. Schnellenberger also coached the Baltimore Colts in one horrific year too. So Schnellenberger was on the sidelines when they beat Minnesota, which shocked the world. This is, one of those times where you got a coach that's looking to make a name for himself. Nothing really to lose because do you have a line on that game yet, Chuck? I have not
last
seen.
I heard is 14.5. Maryland's favorite, 14.5.
That's a little rich for me, man. If I were going to play one of those games of chance, and for no other reason than the fact I'm covering tomorrow's game, I won't touch it. But if I were going to take that game, I might have to roll with Florida Atlantic. And I'm gonna tell you why. There's a lot of new parts that are trying to fit on the back end defensively or and certainly up front. So neither team really knows what they have as of yet. One would assume that Maryland overall has the most depth. But when you come to mano a mano matchups, and in that moment, you got two skilled athletes who are nearly as fast as one another. This team looks to be built, especially with that air raid offense, man. Because the thing about that, they probably been working those timing drills since spring ball. Uh, I'm anxious to see how tethered Maryland's secondary is going to be, and what Ted Monachino does to try to shut them down. Is this going to be a man to man, get after him type of game, or is this going to be play a little zone and just come up and physically punish people until they ultimately break? So I think the chess match of this game is gonna be the new young coach, Kitty, I believe his name. Kitley? Zach Kitley.
Kitley, yes. Zach Kitley, yes.
Yes. All right. I think that um you don't have any real tape on him at Florida Atlantic. Big factor. I mean, that's who because hey, look, air raid offense is a big play offense. You make two or three big plays and you put the pressure on the Terps. How will they then handle coming off of last season with the pressure at home? There are a lot of questions that can be answered in this game. And I don't know if at this point in the season, Maryland is going to be 2 touchdowns better than them. So I might stay away from that game. And if I did, I might take FAU, to cover the under.
Well, speaking of, like I said, the huge turnover there in Florida Atlantic, let's talk a little about Zach Kitley, what he brings to the table. He is only 34 years. Sorry, excuse me. He just turned 35. His birthday was recently August 14th. So happy belated birthday, Zach. He is 22 here in Florida Atlantic. He takes over as head coach. Prior to that, he was at with Air Raid offense at Texas Tech. He had 2 stints there from 2013 to 2017 and 2022 to 2024. He brings 12 years of D1 experience at such a young age. So he's not some first time experience. He's played big time football in the Big 12 at Texas Tech. He coached. He coached under Cliff Kingsbury. He worked with Patrick Mahomes while he was at Texas Tech. And then, when he was at Western Kentucky, he had Bailey Zappi, who had a cup of coffee in the big time in the NFL, put up some numbers, a few times for the Cowboys. I remember he had a couple
in
yeah,
New
exactly.
England, the immortal Bailey
Exactly.
Zappi.
Bailey Zappi, yeah. And that Bailey Zappi team averaged 44.2 points a game and averaged 535 and a third yards total offense. And the guy knows how to coach offense. I mean, that's what his thing. It's his thing. And another thing about it just seems interesting. His defensive coordinator is just as young. It's probably the youngest coaching staff in Division One, averaging 34 and a third years old. The youngest coaching, well, tied the youngest with North Texas, excuse me. 34 and a third years old in the coaching staff. And another interesting thing about this coaching staff, they're all local. They have some. They have two guys from Boca Raton, one guy from Palm Beach, one guy from Spanish River. They have another Florida Atlantic alumni on the coaching staff, two Florida Atlantic alumni on the coaching staff. So,
Well, you know what that means.
in the house.
They recruit as best they can in that
Yeah,
state. That state has a lot
exactly.
of players in all places, right? And
Yeah,
they
yeah.
get what they can get. They get their you can do a lot worse than getting cast-offs from the University of Florida or
Mhm.
Florida State or
Mhm.
Miami,
Mhm.
or Central Florida, which is in Tampa. I mean, you just start
Mhm.
thinking about the layers of school down there just for them to get in the transfer portal with that immediately makes them better, certainly for that American conference that they're in. Um, having not seen them any tape, I'll tell you this, I would expect them to be number one, extremely fast. I think they're going to be pretty athletic. And I think that early in the game, if you want to slow them down just a little bit, you're gonna have to pound them a little something, certainly defensively. Add some, you're gonna have to put some. And I hate to be like this, y'all, because it's funny. I try to explain to people sometimes that the raw brutality of the game of football is we're not trying to hurt you, but if I can compromise you to the point that you can't move as efficiently as you need to get to said ball, then I've done my job. Or if I find a way to clear out a tackle and he doesn't come back, that's just the nature of the game. And I think this is you know, uh, impose your will kind of game for Maryland. They're going to have athletes. Maryland's got athletes, and they're at home. You got this. This is remember the days of Under Armour, and we must protect this house. This is a protect
Mhm.
the house game tomorrow. And no matter what happens, uh, this is gonna be unless it's just like a blowout game. But Florida Atlantic has absolutely nothing to lose in this game. Maryland has the harsh realities of I'm not gonna say everything, but you don't want to wake up the echoes. You know what I'm saying? And they're
Mhm.
different kind of echoes that you wake up at Notre Dame than you wake up with at Maryland, right? And after a 4-8 season, the last thing you need to be is 0-1. This is a huge, huge game against an opponent that you don't know much about. So what you're looking at for me is a question of will. Impose yours on them in your house. Get the W. Work through the mistakes that ultimately happen in game one, and get better weekly. I think that's the whole goal over these first 3 weeks of the season.
And another thing, Florida Atlantic had some players come through here. They had your guy Alfred Morris run through there, Florida Atlantic. They had Devin Singletary run through there. So this team they get NFL quality talent coming to play at the school. But
And a
we
lot of
want,
those kids just don't want to leave Florida. They may want to get
yeah,
out of the town. Like if you're up
yeah.
in Duval and you want to go south, like the Boca,
Duval.
you got takes a certain constitution to hand out down there in Duval, bro.
Or as
Or
what's the Jacksonville coach say? Duval. That was embarrassing. But the guy who's going to be calling the shots for Florida A&M is their transfer quarterback, Caleb Van Clapp. And Coach Loxley has some interesting things to say about this young man.
He's accurate. The ball comes out quick, so pass rush may not be as efficient against the guy and the expectation. Now, this is what we think we're going to see because there's not a full body of work. And so, again, for us, when you don't know, we're going to focus on what we need to do, and that's the communication on defense, getting lined up, the ability to maybe take away the quick hitting passes from a coverage standpoint to not allow them to get the ball on the perimeter, and then obviously tackling well. And I feel good about us going into game one tackling because we had a really physical camp, and I like the way our guys were able. If you can full speed thud tackle or full speed thud, tackling is usually a lot easier.
Which is going to be key against these speedy Florida people. Let me give you a little something about Caden Velkamp, redshirt junior transfer from Western Kentucky. He's the 2024 Conference USA Player of the Year, where he threw for 63.3% completion percentage, 3,108 yards, 25 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. He also had 7 rushing touchdowns. So he's a big guy. He probably did a little tush push action down there in West Kentucky to get those 7 touchdowns at 6'6", 236 pounds. The boy is big, and in the bowl game against ODU, he led his team in a 28-point comeback. So I want to show a little bit of highlights of the game if I could find it, I had it here just a second ago, where he led his team on a 28-point comeback. Probably going to pass on that today, but if I can't find it, this thing's not working. Apparently, I love
well,
technology.
yeah, it's always good when it works, and when it's not, you caught out there. But
Yeah.
let me pick you up, my brother, and you start talking about Florida Atlantic, at least the folks down in Florida seem to think that they have more than a puncher's chance
Mhm.
of winning. And according to the Palm Beach Post, FAU needs to play clean and disciplined game defensively. They say that the offense gains much of the spotlight down there, but the defense is going to be just as important to their turnaround. And one thing about it, when you go up against a air raid type of offense, it speaks to your ability already being prepared for the passing game defensively. And I think therein lies we see one of those critical game sort of matchups where Terp defense, can you get inside the head of the quarterback from Florida Atlantic? And they're also gonna try to put a emphasis on the run. And I think that even they recognize that ball control against the potential that Maryland's offensive weapons show, and the fact that they are themselves reworking a a quarterback. I guess that they got Caden Veltkamp and I guess what's that? Easton Messer from I guess Western Kentucky, where the coach came from. Uh, all,
Yes.
all, all things considered, bro, um, those guys, if we break this game down uh, as we do, the quarterback and the wide receiver on the same page. They know a few nuances that may help, and Maryland is going in blind defensively, so they're going what they hope they see and focusing on them. It'll be interesting to see if Velkamp and Messer can put some pressure on Maryland's D backs if their O line holds up, because the kid threw for over what 3,100 yards or something last year, and Messer caught like 55 for 793, and he had 4 TDs. So all things considered, man, those are players to watch in this game. The quarterback Caden Velkamp and a wide receiver named Easton Messer, and I think clamping down on them early is certainly something that I'm pretty sure um, Ted Monachino has. I don't know if he having any sleepless nights, but he might be concerned about those two.
I got some footage here from that game. So let's just take to the. It was the Greater. Excuse me. The name of the bowl game is hilarious to me. The famous Toastery Bowl. It's not the Mayo Bowl, but it's not Twitch Republic. But this is
It's a
between ODU.
check. It's a check.
Hey. What they say, pay me. All right, here's a little bit of highlights from the toastery, the famous Toastery Bowl.
Wow, it is the famous Toastery Bowl. Wow. See, that literally runs the fans in the stands there, boys.
Watch this. You're good touch on the pass. Jump ball
Wow.
one hand, perfect. Now let's
Wow.
go a little further down. Let's go a little further down the game here. We have
Okay, so here's Western Kentucky against ODU. Oh my. Wow, they did say that if they hope to pull off an upset, that Easton Messer
mm,
and Caden Velkamp are going to have to play big, and that looks like that kid's got a little
here we go.
some when he gets around the corner there.
Yeah. See, he took a bad sack here,
Right.
but watch how he bounces back from it. You
Okay,
can
so we
fast
get
forward a little bit.
right. All right, and then let's see you do something special, young fella. Down by a touchdown, less than 30 seconds to go, and see. Oh wow. That's one of those great play calls that just opens up for you. and he delivers a strike.
Yeah.
Kind of, you know, you're open like that. It's just crazy, and that's if you're watching this, you got to appreciate the schemes and the way that they clear out the underneath stuff so that receiver can get open. And that's air raid football right there in a nutshell.
And then here is the game-winning drive here.
Wow, he really knows how to deliver in some awkward spots. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I mean, some of the because they like to talk about this thing called launch angle, and look at him. He's got a wacky little delivery right there, but
Mhm.
he puts the ball on the spot, and he gets his team set up for this field goal in overtime. And this, my friends, it's over. It's all over. So I guess this is the game that sort of ended Kitley's time in at Western Kentucky. It was like after that thrilling win, why not move on to Boca? Which I gotta
Yeah.
believe I've called a game at Western Kentucky. Uh,
Mhm.
Lovely town. But if I had
Mhm.
my choice between I think it's Lexington, no, it's Frankfurt, is it?
Yeah, Frankfurt, yes.
Yeah, well, if I had my choice between bucolic Frankfurt and wonderfully beautiful Boca Raton, God bless y'all, I'm out.
Yeah, and you see his boy Aston Messer was making plays with him, so he's coming with him down to Florida Atlantic. Both those guys, that could be like, you know, if you have that combination of you're familiar with your quarterback, you're familiar with the receiver, and that's just going to build. They're both redshirt juniors. They're going to be there for probably won't this year and next year. Probably, I don't think neither one's going to go pro too soon. So you have 2 years of these guys in Boca Raton. So this team might have some do some damage in their conference in the American League, American Conference, and improve because they are coming off a subpar year as well. They only had like 2 wins last year. They had 3-17 because what their record was last year. Sorry, 1-7 in conference, 3-9 overall. So both teams are going to be bounced back from very mediocre years. So it's interesting what's going to happen Saturday in College Park.
Wait, and if you're a fan on the other side, it's going to be even more interesting to see what kind of tone that sets for your season because this is more of a litmus test for them than it
Mhm.
is for Maryland to see how you're going to match up as
Mhm.
the program brings in a new coach and tries to move up. Whereas for Maryland, I mean, this one, I don't know, with 13 straight non-conference victories on opening day. Uh, I think Maryland would have the graces had they not been coming off of a 4-8 campaign.
Mhm.
So in the early season, and it looks like a mismatch. A lot of people just going to pass over this game on the board. There's certain little interesting storylines that you follow in this game, which really could speak volumes about the direction of both of these teams for the rest of the year. So I'm quite frankly interested in seeing how this is going to play out.
And on that note, we have to get to the end of the game predictions. As I've noticed on several sites that Maryland is a 14.5 point favorite over Florida Atlantic. I don't see anything about over unders or anything like that, but we're just going to go with the spread. I'm just going to take the head up. I'm not. What are your thoughts on this game? Who wins by how much, and who is going to be the standout player of the game?
Wow. I will say this. I do like Maryland to win the game at home. I think it may be a little bit closer than people expect, and there may be some uneasiness because of the residue of last season. But I think that they'll figure out a way to win this game. So I don't like the 14.5 points, though. I think that's way too rich for a new quarterback, a
Mhm.
change in defensive philosophy. And you're going against a rare air raid offense that can really put some points up. So I don't like that number at all. I like Maryland to win the game, but I don't like that number. I would probably take um, Florida Atlantic to cover the spread. I think Maryland wins the game.
I'm with you. I do think Maryland wins the game. I just found the over/under here. Numbers have been fluctuating between different sites, but it's looking like here average of 57.5 points. So they're expecting to be some points scored in this game with the air raid offense of Florida Atlantic and the Pep Hamilton offense here in Maryland.
You said 53.5?
57.5. I see it as high as 61.5, and I see as low as I don't see anything lower. Yeah, 61.5 is like one. I'm seeing a lot of that as well.
I'm struggling to find out.
57.5.
And the guys in Vegas who lay the lines know a lot more about this kind of stuff than I do, so I'll give them credit on it. But I just think that the intangible that comes in, it's first game of the season with basically new regimes at the helm. Certainly on the offensive side of the football. I'm not quite sure either team is going to be cohesive enough to get to that 30-point threshold. You may have one. I could see 30-17. I could see 30-23 maybe. Something like that, but that 60 number is a rich number for me, bro.
Yeah. 30 points, average 30 points per both teams. So, you know what? First game of the season, uncertainty at quarterback on the Maryland side, but Florida Atlantic does have their quarterback set. They had their number one receiver set. They, 55 new players on their roster. It's. I think Husky said it's impossible to know. You just got to go out there. It's going to be something where it's like they don't know you don't know them, so it can be either a barn burner, crazy high scoring game, or it could be like that snooze fest we saw with baby Mahomes in Nebraska and Cincinnati with Mr. and Mrs. Swift in the stands watching the game.
Had to get that one in, didn't you? Had to get it in.
Cheap shot. Baby
All right.
Mahomes, my goodness. Talk about overhyped player, but I digress.
Wow. Where's this energy coming from, man? You got something you want to get off?
Well, it's Nebraska, so they're going to be competition. So I got to talk trash about them. But at the end of the day, I think Maryland will win this game, and I think they will cover. It will be. I think they will be the over. They'll cover and win. So across the board, money line, spread, and over. Maryland wins this game. I'm going to say final score 47-33.
Wow. That means we won't get out of the stadium till 6 o'clock.
We're gonna be there all day.
Are you kidding me?
But don't worry, we have the new menu that they're going to roll out for us. So we got some good options with the new menu.
You're talking about for the people in the stadium who are going to enjoy the perks of it. Because I did not make it to the press conference where they were giving samples to the media, and you know how I love to eat.
Hey, I love to eat, especially when it's free. It's for me, so
I'm trying to get 3 for sure.
I'm trying to fix me a plate. You know what I'm saying? But I might have to sneak down to the concession stand and get me one of those crab pretzels they're talking about.
Oh, the pretzel with the crab meat.
Oh yeah, I might have to get a little crab pretzel.
Thing, bro, for real.
Oh yeah.
That's
Hey,
stolen from Camden Yards, which ain't a bad place if you're gonna steal something. Steal something from Camden Yards.
Football and crab cakes is what Maryland does.
Really is.
That's what we're going to do this Saturday.
Is there a crab hot dog this year?
I think there'll be crab dogs there. There'll be probably Maryland crab dogs there. So I might have to have a natty bow and some Maryland dogs. No, sorry, no natty bow for me. But but we will be back. We'll be back soon with a recap of this game, give our thoughts and reactions to what happens, see who wins, see how close my prediction was with this game. I might be a little overzealous with the score because they did score 50 points last year in the opening game, but we saw how well that ended up this season. So, Mark, folks, how they can follow you, see you on social media, and listen to your commentary.
Oh, okay. So it would be right there.
Right there.
At Sports Groove. Yes. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. You can't miss me anyway there. And we got commentary on a whole bunch of stuff that's going on. Uh, Cowboy fan, I don't feel your pain. I'll just get to that later on on another platform. So check your boy out at the Sports Groove 24/7, 365 on computer, smartphone, tablet, however you get your social media groove on. I'm there. Even on Threads. I'm on Threads and Snap too. I'm still trying to figure out why I'm on Snap, but I'm on Snap.
Hey, it's an option, and you can find me at Charles Young. You can see the spelling right there. I don't want to spell it for you, but Facebook, X, Threads,
Yes.
IG, TikTok, Snap,
Instagram. Yeah.
Reels. What else is there? Blue Sky,
I haven't got there yet.
MySpace.
But
Blue Sky is basically Twitter, but less racist. If you can break it down for you, it's
I'm
what it is. Twitter less racist,
comforting to
and
know.
like Twitter less ist. All
Ah,
the ist.
nice.
So you can actually go there and have a nice debate and conversation and share cool things on social media without all the ist in your mentions. So this
Oh
has
yeah.
been Maryland Live.
Hey,
Go ahead,
what man?
man.
Get out of there. I know Loxley and the folks in College Park are having the
Yes.
Thursday night talk show with the legend that is Johnny Holiday. And
Johnny Holiday.
and you know something? After I get finished with my class, I think I may head over there, see what the vibe is like. You know, you think you might want to join me over there for one? You got time
Yeah.
for your boy?
Oh, definitely. I'm free. I am free on Thursday evening, so I definitely might roll down to College Park, the old alma mater, and check out Grill Marks
Right.
at the hotel across campus, across Baltimore Avenue, Route
Yeah.
1 there in College Park, Maryland. So Grill Marks, Coach
And
Loxley there.
you can go there and just be fans.
Yes, we're going in
That,
there
there's
off duty,
that's
off duty going there. So this
going
has been
incognito.
Maryland Live. This has been Maryland Live on the Voice of College Football. I am your boy Charles Younger, along with Professor G, Mark Gray, the OG, and we will see you soon. Deuces.
Go Terps.